title on the next blank page. Multiplication fluency. Bryson, next blank page, not a random blank page, please. We're going to talk about it, John, but I need this title down so that we can write down what it means. Multiplication fluency. How many of you have heard the phrase times tables? Anyone heard that phrase before? All right. Whether you've heard it or not, that is talking about multiplication fluency. We can organize, you're writing, Bryson, our math facts, our multiplication facts, in a chart that some people call a table. And we know that times, a lot of people say multiplication is times. That's where the word times table comes from. Over the next couple of weeks, we know what multiplication is. We've been doing that for a couple of days. But that fluency piece is the ability to solve multiplication equations mentally. We talked about mental math. That's kind of what we're doing with our number talk. We're doing some mental math. There's a paper, there's a whiteboard. So Jalen, that would be a perfect example of wasting space, because you've wasted so much of that beginning section of your notebook. Let's not do that, please. For many parents and families, this means that you memorize your multiplication facts. That is definitely one strategy. So one strategy you could use to be able to solve your multiplication equations in your head is to memorize them. What does that word memorize mean? Like if I say memorize them, what does that mean? Ariana? Yeah, it's a memory. You've got it stuck in your head. Absolutely. There are a couple of facts that you should be able to memorize. If you want to memorize all of them, that's on you. But I expect these 3 facts to be memorized. So if you don't have them memorized, now we got to start working on it. Evelyn, what's up?
I have another example for memory.
Go for it.
Like if you practice them so that it's stuck in your brain, you'll know it for the rest of your life.
Yeah, kind of like our plate words.
Yeah, like we practice 1 + 1 as soon as we do it.
Exactly. Great example. 3 facts that you're going to memorize. You are going to memorize your 2's. Most of you probably already have your 2's memorized. If I say what's 2 groups of 5, most of you can tell me that super fast. What? Not right now. You could have done it this morning. So playing with your costumes. Next one that I do expect to be memorized. 5's. Again, some of you might already have some of your fives memorized. There is one more that I expect you to know by memory instantly. It is your tens. Choose fives and tens. Those I expect to be memorized. Now, obviously, that's not all of our numbers, is it? No, it's not our threes. It's not our sevens. It's not our eights. So we're going to have some other strategies that we come back to. Memorization, just relying on knowing it, should not be your only strategy. Are we clear? We need other backup plans. Because sometimes you forget. Right? Sometimes you forget. You got to have a backup plan. So today we are going to start fluency, which means every day, give or take, we're going to be focusing on a math fact or a math family of facts. 2s, 3s, 4s, those kinds of things. So that we can learn the strategies, if you were drawing in your notebook, stop. So we can learn the strategies to help us become fluent. That means be able to say those math facts without having to draw it out. Does that make sense? Can you still draw it out right now? Absolutely, you're still learning. You've only been doing multiplication for about a week. We're just getting our brain ready so that by 4th grade, you don't have to draw it all out. You've got strategies that you can just solve it in your head. So far, so good? All right, draw a line in your notebook because you should still have plenty of room. If you do not have plenty of room, that's because you are wasting paper and not writing on the lines. Subtitle. Discovering zeros. Discovering zeros is your new subtitle. Discovering zeros is your new subtitle. What? You should have a line above it. That's what I said. Oh, you can. That's fine. Yeah, if you want to make it a 0, not an O, by putting that line, that's fine. I'm not picky. Kaden, Ariana, Zach. Thanks for reading the board. All right, Kaden is a group. Ariana is a group. Zach is a group. Hold your hands out, groups. I'm about to give you some stuff. I'm about to give you 0 pencils. You ready? 0 pencils for you. 0 pencils for you. 0 pencils for you. Each student has 0 pencils. Look at your pencils. Admire your pencils. Love your pencils. Say hello to your pencils. How many pencils are there? Raise your hand and tell me. How many pencils are there, Math one? 0. There are 0 pencils still. Thank you for coming up, friends. You can go sit back down. Let's talk about what happened. Let's talk about what happened. We had 3 students come up, and they were my groups. You're writing what I'm writing. You don't need to write what's already on here. So 3 students, right? We had Kaden, Ariana, and Zach. And those guys were my 3 groups. So in this case, students represented groups. Yesterday when we were doing our bunny hops, remember our hops were our groups. Today it's students are my groups. Each student got what? 0 what? 0 pencils. I have 3 groups, aka 3 students. I'm writing, you're writing 3 groups, and each group got 0 pencils. Which meant there were how many pencils up here? 0. I just translated that story into a math equation. Could someone read that math equation to me in English? Translate it back. I wrote it in math language. Now you turn it back into English. Rylan? Yeah. If I have 3 groups of nothing, do I still have nothing?
Yes.
What if I had 5 groups of nothing? What if I had 100 groups of nothing?
Nothing.
Let's write that down. What about 5 groups of nothing? What is that worth? Still worth nothing. Hang on, we're not there yet, Colby. Let's see your brain going. Pump the brakes a little bit. Oh, thank you. What about 100 groups of nothing? We just did that one. Still worth nothing. Still worth nothing. All right, we're going to do some writing on this, so get your pencil ready. The way that you read this chart is there are factors, the parts, going across the top. This right here. And right here. These are our parts. Does that make sense? Let's label that. So I want you to do a big arrow like this. And then we'll put factors. What? That is our multiplication symbol telling you that we're multiplying. Because there can be an addition chart. We don't use it very often, but they would just have an addition symbol. And then we're going to go down here to our other side. These are also factors. If I can make an F. There we go. We got factors and factors, parts and parts. Where's our total? Where's our whole? Where's our product? Evelyn? Yeah, our products are all the spaces in the middle. Products are all the spaces in the middle. So right now, we have no products because we have no numbers. They're all spot savers. Look at all those spot savers. We don't have any products yet. So I'm going to explain what's up, Tatum.
I think I know how this works.
Okay, go for it.
So it's like one that has no zero, you put like zero, like 2.
Yep. So the way you are exactly correct, Kaden. The way this is going to work is I'm going to put one finger on one factor. Let's start with this 0 right here. Put one finger there. And I'm going to put one finger on my other factor. We're going to do this other 0. And where they meet, which is in this box, is where the product goes. Okay, well, what is 0 groups of 0? Not a trick question. What is 0 groups of 0? Begin. 0. Filled in one of those spot savers with a 0, because 0 groups of 0 is worth 0. Let's keep going. Put your finger on the 1. Put your finger on the 0 still. Drag them until they meet. What is one group of 0 worth? Not a trick question. Heidi? 0. Let's go over to the 2. 2 groups of 0. What's that worth? Carl? 0. What about 3 groups of 0? John, you with us? 4 groups of 0? 5 groups of 0? 6 groups of 0? 7 groups of 0? 8 groups of 0? 9 groups of 0? 10 groups of 0? Is there anything else I can fill out on this multiplication chart that we've talked about so far? So far we did 1 group of 0, 2 groups of 0, 3 groups of 0, 4 groups of 0. Is there any other version we need to think about? Heidi?
I can go down the zeros column.
Let's think about that. Heidi's saying, hey, what if I said 0 groups of 1? You see how that's different? Macklin, you got to look up here in order to see that's different. 0 groups of 1 right here. Well, what's 0 groups of 1 worth?
0.
Whoops, not red. What about 0 groups of 2? 0 groups of 3? 0 groups of 4? 0 groups of 5? 0 groups of 6? 0 groups of 7? 0 groups of 8? 0 groups of 9? 0 groups of 10? Look at all those math facts you already know. That's a good part of that chart filled in. That's at least 20, maybe 19, because zeros are doubled. You already know all those math facts. Dog ear this page, because we are going to come back to it almost every day. As we learn new math facts, we're going to come over here and fill in our chart. So dog ear that page, please. Turn the page. Once you've dog-eared it, go to the next page, please. We already talked about that. New title. New title, please. I don't need announcements as to what it says. I just need you to write it down as your new title. You're writing on the line because you're a 3rd grader. Fix it. You're a 3rd grader. If you are having any side conversation or just making noise, stop. Heidi. Tatum. Colby. Gotta be quick. Directions say I need 3 students in front of my room to be my groups. Alright, I've got 3 students. This time, y'all are all going to get 1 marker. Hold your hand out. 1 for you. 1 for you. No, thank you. 1 for you. How many total markers are there? Raise your hand and tell me. Ariana?
3.
3. Interesting. Put your markers back in my bin, please. Let's write that down. Whoa, why is that? All right, that's fine. So again, I'm writing, you're writing what I'm writing, please. Again, I have 3 students. I had 3 students, just like last time. And we know that my students were my groups. So I had 3 groups. But this time, something different happened. They did not get nothing. What did they get? They didn't get nothing. What did they get? Gia, what did they get? They each got 1 marker. So I have 3 groups of, remember that multiplication symbol is talking about our groups. They got 3 groups of 1 marker each, which means there was a total of how many markers? A total of how many markers? Carl? 3. There was a total so every student received 1 pencil, 1 marker. How many total pencils were there? 3. What if we're writing, what if I had 5 students and each student got 1 pencil or marker or whatever you want to say? How many would that be total? Macklin? 5 things, right? There's 17 of us. Mackenzie brought in some little popcorn treats. She did. That was very kind of her. Every one of us will get 1 popcorn treat. That means there's how many total popcorn treats? If every person gets 1. Tatum? There's 17 of them. I'm starting to notice a pattern. See if you can figure out that pattern. Turn to your neighbor, tell them the pattern that you noticed. Go. What did you notice? What did you notice? I noticed pattern. I heard a couple of you notice pattern. What did you notice? Ariana, what did you notice?
I noticed it's how you say and you know how you say every time the answer is just like, let's say their number that was one of, let's say 5 times 1 equals 5. So you added 1, you added 2 more, you added 17 times 1 equals 17. I noticed that every time the first pattern, like the first more number than 1,
The first factor.
the first factor is mostly the number that's going to be the answer.
Interesting. So Ariana noticed, hey, that first factor is also showing up in my answer. What did you notice? Madison, what did you notice?
So the first number, the equation is the same as the ending.
Let's try out this theory. Okay? I got a bag of candy at my house. 1 bag. Inside that bag, there is 30 pieces. How many total pieces of candy is in that bag? Carl? Is it 30 or is it 1? Because Ariana and Madison said, hey, that first number, that first factor becomes my answer. Is that true? Why did what? Okay, so a lot of you say no. Why? This is what mathematicians do all the time. They have an initial idea, and then we get some evidence to say, wait, that might not be true all the time. There might be some exceptions. Tegan?
Because it is not one in the middle. Because usually there's a one in the middle to make the same answer as the
Let's think about this in terms of a story. Because just putting a 1 in the middle, that doesn't mean anything to me. Right? I can just put a 1 in the middle of a number. Why is the answer not 1? Think about it in terms of what this equation means. Rylan?
It's not 1 because you have one group of 30. That's why it's not going to be 1.
What is it going to be?
It's going to be 30.
I have one group of 30 things, which means I have a total of 30 things. Evelyn?
It's because of the community.
Say that again.
It's because of the community.
What do you mean by that?
It can be 3 times 1 equals 3. But if you but with the community property, you can switch it around and it's 1 times 3. But with the community property still lets you have the same answer.
Absolutely. Because you just missed out on that genius. Well, if you're saying me, probably you too. Make sure you're listening to the genius that's happening. That's just coming from me. I'm not the only genius in this room. Evelyn said, hey, that commutative property says I can rearrange it. So one group of 30 will still give me the same value as 30 groups of 1. Can you imagine if I had 30 bags with 1 candy in each bag? How ridiculous would that be? Would it be the same amount of candy? Would it be way more annoying? Still worth 30. Still worth 30. Look at what you're writing because it needs to be on the line. Don't look at me. Look at what you're writing because it needs to be on the lines. So we talked about this. You don't need to write this down. 7 groups of 1. What is 7 groups of 1 going to be worth? I have 7 groups with 1 thing in each group. Huxley? 7 things. What about if I have 1 group with 9 things? How many things is that? Picture it. 1 group, 9 things in that group. How many things is that? Tatum? 9 things, right? Let's go back to our multiplication chart. Oops, let me switch back to it. Holy moly. Turn back to your multiplication chart. You dog-eared it. Dog-eared it. Put your finger on the 1, because we're talking about our 1s. Now we already know 1 group of 0. What is 1 group of 0? Say it. 0. All right, well, what about 1 group of 1? What would 1 group of 1 be worth? What? 1. What about 1 group of 2? That would be worth 2 things. What about 1 group of 3? 3 things. 1 group of 4? 4 things. One group of 5. One group of 6. One group of 7. 7 things. One group of 8. 8 things. One group of 9. 9 things. One group of 10. 10 things. Anything else I can fill out? Anything else I can fill out on that multiplication chart? Gia? I can fill out the top. Why can I fill out the top? There's a special math rule that says I can rearrange my factors and still get the same product. What's the name of that special math rule? Mackenzie, you don't look like you're paying attention. Get with the program. Ariana? Commutative property. So now put your finger on the 2. Other finger on the 1. What about 2 groups of 1? What is 2 groups of 1 going to be worth? 2. Move your finger over to the 3. 3 groups of 1. 3 groups of 1 worth 3. 4 groups of 1. 5 groups of 1. 6 groups of 1. 7 groups of 1. 8 groups of 1. Carl. 9 groups of 1. Because you were writing. 10 groups of 1. 100 groups of 1. 1 million groups of 1. 1 million groups of nothing. Nothing. 0. Look at all those math facts we have learned already. We've filled up a good part of that chart, and all we've done are our zeros and our ones. These are probably 2 facts that you should also have memorized. Zeros and ones, 2s, 5s, and 10s. This week, I want you practicing zeros, ones, 2s, 5s, and 10s. We will have a quiz next week on zeros, ones, 2s, 5s, and 10s. No. You will not have to show your work because I want it to be quick, because it should be memorized. You should be able, if I say what's 1 times 3, immediately tell me that answer. It's going to take some practice. Some of you can do that right now. Some of you need some practice. That's okay. But we should be able to do that. John, what?
I know what maybe we'll learn next time is.
What you think?
I think we're learning to do some more 10s and the numbers on 10s and 1s. Maybe